Hello, Professor. I'm Zihan Cho, and I'm a junior student with finance major. Today, I'm going to present the climate change of Bolivia. This is the map of Bolivia. There are 5 parts of the vulnerabilities of Bolivia. The first one is the agriculture. It will damage agricultural production. For example, people do not have enough healthy food to eat, so that increase the risk of the disease on their body. Farmers do not have a considerable income due to the death of the production. The reason for that production is the greenhouse gases released. The second one is the loss of the biodiversity. The effects of the climate change also poses serious risks to some varieties. Like the amount of varieties of potato is decreasing and reduced range and distribution. The third one is the natural disease. Drought in the western mountains, floods in the flat eastern regions, and uncontrolled forest fires. People have to move from their original places to new unfamiliar places. They do not have a wonderful place to live, and people may get sick when absorb the dust. The fourth one was the ecological. Changes in the hydrological cycle which impacts on natural environments. For instance, people do not have a healthy environmental place to live, and animals are threatened with extinction. More green plants will die due to the terrible climates. The last one is the economies. Bolivia will face the economic shock due to the climate change, because tourists will not go for travel ever. Farmers lose money on vegetation because of soil erosion. Citizens do not have motivation to work efficiently due to the bad weather. The whole country will become terrible than previous year. Opportunities for Bolivia: land reform and agriculture, which include improving agricultural practice so that decrease the greenhouse gases release and decrease the risk of soil erosion. Farmers do better vegetation due to the fertilizer soil, so farmers earn more income than previous year. The second one is forestry sector reform, decreasing deforestation rates and increase the Bolivia population average 20% of total income. Because Bolivia forests can attract tourists to visit Bolivia, so that stimulates economies. Water sector reform, develop a policy and institutional framework for management and sustainability of the service in order to achieve 100% access to drinking water and sanitation by the year of the 2025. It also reduces the risk of flooding on productive areas. People have good quality water to drink, and they don't have to move from their homeland because of flooding. The fourth one was the mining. Propose an environmental law which includes mining law in order to decrease the population from mining, because mining releases a large amount of carbon dioxide and SO2 that harm the environment. Mining law can control the volume of carbon dioxide and SO2 released, so citizens may not have big effects of health due to the pollution. Energy. The MASIPSP contains a project of gas to liquid in order to decrease the dependencies on diesel imports. Policy include regulate domestic price below border prices. Former governments' attempt to reduce fuel subsidies have been stopped by social protects. The second presentation, I'm going to present the history of Bolivia involvement in the fossil fuel production. Bolivia economies before the Industrial Revolution. At this time, Bolivia is very poor and backward. In pre-Columbian time, the high plains Altiplano had an economy based upon irrigated agriculture. By the end of the 18th century, the silver deposit had been worked out and the region was economically depressed. The loss of the Pacific Coast territory as a result of Bolivia's inability to develop the natural deposit in the territory. In the later part of the 19th century, new uses for tin were developed and the new higher prices of tin brought prosperity to the old mining areas. The Conservative Party and the Liberal Party were formed in the 1880s. Both parties were in agreement on economy policy. In the chaos war, Bolivia suffered losses and the people of Bolivia recognized the future of Bolivian government and economy problem. Change after the Industrial Revolution. Bolivia is very rich in natural resources. Due to their limited skills, many of resources just produced on a small scale, and they don't know how to exploit it. In the 1952, drastic land reform and nationalized the large mines. In May 1984, the government stopped serving the debt. National parks have been established in eastern Bolivia. Strong winds natural resource would be ideal for wind-based energy, and the rivers in their areas are also from hydroelectric energy. 21,000 miners lost the job following the collapse of the market in 1986. The history of fossil fuel burning in the Bolivia. According to the World Bank Collection Development Indicators, the fossil fuel energy consumption was 85.2% in Bolivia at 2014. However, the U.S. fossil fuel energy consumption was 80.24%, which was smaller than Bolivia. From 1990 to 1994, Bolivia's total carbon dioxide emission from all fossil fuels increased, a little bit decreased during the 1995 to 1996. After the year 1996 until today, the total carbon dioxide release are increasing every year. Fossil fuel burning raising temperature due to large amounts of carbon dioxide release that will damage the climate change. Raising temperature from burning the fossil fuel has accelerated glaciers melting in Bolivia. More than 100 families have sold their sheep, llamas, and alpaca. Popos is down to 2% of this water level and has suffered El Nino. From 1978 to 1979, the carbon dioxide gas release increasing. Fossil fuel burning caused drought, less than available food and water this century for more than 3 million inhabitants of Bolivia's highland in 2010. The history of deforestation and urbanization in Bolivia. Around half of the Bolivia is covered by forest. However, forests are lost every year. Deforestation rates are highest in the lowlands. Nowadays, deforestation rates are stabilized on a high level due to a number of drivers related to the political economy of land and forest use. According to an experiment, they stated that if Bolivia's potential long-run increase in the biomass of mature forest steel, the estimated of net carbon dioxide emission from land use and land use change in Bolivia dropped to close to zero. Now I'm going to present the lifestyles in Bolivia. Dominates lifestyles of different groups. People who are more dependent on the land will have a large effects due to the climate change impacts. For example, farmers may lose their gross production after soil erosion. Socio-economic class citizens may shrink of their earning due to the climate change. For instance, they invested some item which weather condition is significant for them, so they may lose money. Wealthy people have better place to live in Bolivia, although the climate was changed, because they have enough money to relocate their living places due to the climate impacts. People live in the eastern region may move to the southern area due to floods in Bolivia. This impact will cause Bolivian has huge competitive on job because a large number of citizens live on the eastern region. Poor people may become terrible if the climate change impacts because they did not have enough money to buy some food to survive if the disasters happen. They did not have more place to live. People are more dependent on service made difficult to call someone to help them solve problems. Because the terrible weather will affect people's mood so that they would not like to go outside for work. Bolivia clothes and fashion are very greatly from one region with high carbon footprints to another due to the climate change quickly. Now I'm going to present the vulnerable population in Bolivia. Farmers will be the most vulnerable due to the climate change. Because the climate change will affect the temperature, sunshine, and water quality. Those are important conditions for the production goals. People living along a particular coastline also have vulnerable due to the climate change. For instance, the sea level raises will damage the coastline people's living, so that people are forced to leave this place and move to other place. Rural women may sick due to the climate change pollution. For instance, women drink dirty water due to the water resource exploded. People live in the forest may damaged by the climate change because high temperature will cause the forest fires. Uncontrolled forest fire harm to human life. Indigenous people also have big effects of climate change because there are many risks within their living places if the weather is terrible. The trade-offs in Bolivia. The establishment of the platform of the social organization against climate change is a positive pressures on governments and to combat global warming. Water storage and management should be a major priority, especially in urban areas where increased demand in generating water shortage problems. Uptake and increase the use of irrigation for agriculture. Development of agricultural insurance schemes is priorities such as food security. What's more, build and improve environmental system in Bolivia, increasing effectiveness in energy supply and use to mitigate effects of the GHG emission and the risks of contingencies. Carbon management in forest, wetland, and other managed natural ecosystem. Next, Bolivia's platform. History of Bolivia involved in UNFCCC, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement. Bolivia signed the Convention on Global Climate at UNCED of Rio de Janeiro in June 1992 and is ratified this in July 1994 by a national law. The Kyoto Protocol of 1997 was ratified by the Law of Republic in July 1999, and the ratification was deposited at the Convention Secretariat in November 1999, and Bolivia entry into force on 16 February 2005. The Paris Agreement was ratified in April 2016, and the ratification was approved in October 2016, and Bolivia entry into forces in November 2016. The major instance of the Bolivia's involvement. The first one is the COP 1995 Berlin. Bolivia commits to prepare the national communication and to conduct studies to estimate this emission. The second one, COP 1996 Geneva. Bolivia forms part of the G77 and China asking for larger commitments from developed nations. The third one, COP 1997 Kyoto. The new government of Bolivia attends with new actors, a small delegation including the Vice Minister of Environment, supports inclusion of forests in the CDM. Bolivia actively participates in G77. The fourth one, COP 1998, Buenos Aires. A larger Bolivian team actively coordinates with the Julia to include forest in CDM, particularly conversion of forest. The fifth one, COP 1999, Boni. As in COP4, Bolivia support the G77 Angular position on CDM. Bolivia strengthened its delegation with a larger number. Its proposed activities of LULUCF. The last one was the COP 2000 Hagil. Focus and provide a detailed analysis of the way in which Bolivia participation in it. Why Bolivia has engaged in PLITUS. The Bolivian government prepared a national strategy to implement the UNFCCC, which constitutes the basic policy framework for planning and implementation within the national territory. The strategy is based on 4 declared objectives in the economy, social, and environmental spheres. To promote clean development by replacing current GHG polluting technologies in agriculture, forestry, and factories with more efficient ones that can effectively reduce emissions without jeopardizing economic development. To conserve natural environment, particularly forest. To increase the effectiveness of the energy used in order to reduce the risk of not having enough in the near future. To improve the understanding of environmental changes in order to generate an effective capacity to react. The Bolivian position after the Kyoto and the UNFCCC. The Kyoto Protocol established that net changes in the reforestation, and forestation could be included in the emission inventories of Bolivia. The concept of CER has been a key force driving Bolivia to promote investment and to formulate projects that will fit in the CDM framework. Since Kyoto, several actions have been taken internally to capture the benefits of the flexible mechanism. The national strategy constitutes a basic tool to support the negotiation position of Bolivia. The demand of LULUCF project, the market and the possible price scenarios, and conclude that Bolivia should demand the inclusion of forests in the CDM together with unilateral financing for such projects. For example, agroforestry project, low impact logging, and reforestation project. The last part I'm going to discuss the recommendation for Bolivia. Recommendation for international climate change negotiation. Develop a global partnership for development. The benefits of this function, that is to international relation, may be strengthened by the climate impact, so keep in touch and build good relationship with other countries is very important for Bolivia development. The cost of this function is to say spend much time and money on global cooperation because they would like to build a network within countries perfectly. The second one is to ensure environmental sustainability, decrease the loss of the biodiversity and loss of basic support system for the livelihood of many people, especially in Africa. Rich countries for climate change transfer to finance and technology. The benefit of this strategy is this change is the heart of the solution. Deep emission caused by rich countries and the major transfer resource to poor countries. The cost of this strategy is to the new industry show up that the government should spend a lot. The recommendation for future generation, which includes 3 points. The first one is the improved government funds utility. The second one is the saving plans for energy wasted. The third one was the appeal for citizens join in any green activities. The fourth one was the Bolivia platform and the social organization. And the last one was to active the citizenship. The cost of the improved government funds utility is to spend time for tracking each program funds detail. The benefits of this strategy is to avoid government members' cooperation, so Bolivia has enough money to operate a fantastic city in Bolivia. The cost of the saving plans for energy wastes is to spend much money and use other special ways in order to reduce noxious gas release. The benefit is to decrease the pollution of energy wasted. To appeal for citizens join in any green activities, it will cost much money and to lost time to organize those activities. The benefit for appeal for citizens join in any green activities is will plant more green plants, and that will more clean and fresh air created that will benefit for human health. The benefits of the active citizen is as much about collectively pressuring for changes as it is about the choices and action of the individuals. There needs to be a concerted campaign, supported by both government and civil society movement, to broaden awareness beyond the serve of experts and the leaders of social movement to the public at large, and to encourage changes in individual behavior. Recommendation for theory of justice. Promotes gender equality and empower women. The benefit of this strategy is to women is a significant role on agricultural production, so protect and promote female heredity, so women have a good mood in order to reduce the rate of the poor health. And the second one was the recent proposal from the Bolivia government for an international tribunal on climate justice. The benefit of this strategy is to target at polluting countries and companies, highlight the need of the effective global governance and accountability mechanism, which hold polluters to account and protect or compensate vulnerable countries. Social movements in Bolivia believe this type of ideas should be considered in international fora debating climate change. The last part of the recommendation for vulnerable groups, which include 3 parts. The first one is the justice teacher education. The benefit of this strategy is to improve teachers' teaching quality, so help children and other citizens who need more educate on learning. The cost of this strategy is too complex and spend much time to prepare the recruitment. The second one is to improve women's and children's safety. The benefit of this strategy is to women and children are vulnerable groups, so they should be protected because children and women can assist and support their father or husband. But, however, it spends much time and money for market research on their life, interview and collect information about women and children's life today. The last one is to create opportunities on education. The benefits of this strategy is to enhance the citizens' quality. The cost of this strategy is build and advertise some activities which can attract citizens have interest in reading and studying. However, it spend more time on brainstorm to figure out the activities. This is the reference for those knowledge in this presentation. And thanks for your listening and watching. Have a good holiday. Thank you.